Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, fused with Pink Super Saiyan 3 Black Goku template at the start. Chapter 41. A Frog in a Well. It's really a lifeless thing. Since your mouth is so hard, I want to see if you will be so painful that you beg for mercy when my fist hits your face. Toppo frowned, then clenched his fists, and the terrifying breath of God erupted from his body instantly. This guy was originally a Gods of Destruction candidate selected by Gods of Destruction and Angel, so it was quite normal to be able to use the breath of God. Not bad, it seems to be stronger than I thought, no wonder you speak so loudly. But if your strength is only like this, it would be too disappointing. After finishing speaking, a smile suddenly appeared on Su-han's face. Arrogance. But arrogance comes at a price. Toppo clenched his fists, as if he was going to attack Su-han at any moment. Pay the price, just rely on this frog in the well. After finishing speaking, Su-han suddenly clenched his fists and turned into Super Saiyan God Pink. Immediately, a powerful breath of God was released from his body. It is not weaker than Toppo, who is a candidate for Gods of Destruction, and even stronger than Toppo, who is a candidate for Gods of Destruction. Since this guy also has such a powerful aura of God. Could it be that he is really the god of that universe? Sensing the terrifying aura of God released from Su-han's body, even Castler's face was filled with astonishment. Although they knew that the other party could use the breath of God, they never thought that the other party's control over the breath of God could reach such a level, which shocked Castler to the extreme. You must know that the divine power released by Su-han is not weaker than Captain Toppo, who is a candidate for Gods of Destruction. Could it be that this guy is also a candidate for Gods of Destruction cultivated by the universe? Thinking of this, Castler couldn't help but recall what Su-han said before. Defeat Toppo. The frog in the well. The rookie. Gulu. If that's the case, then Captain Toppo. Can beat him. Thinking of this, Castler's face became tense. But it was only for a moment, and Castler's face became firm again. Although the aura of God emanating from Su-han's body is very strong, it is absolutely impossible to be the opponent of Captain Toppo. You must know that the current Captain Toppo is not just a nominal candidate, but an existence that can use the power of destruction. So it is simply impossible to defeat Captain Toppo. I didn't expect that there is such a huge aura of God hidden in your body. It seems that you want to challenge me, not just talking big words, but you really have the capital to challenge me. But you think you can defeat me with just this kind of power? Dreaming. After speaking, Toppo's face changed, and then his body jumped up. The huge iron fist hit Su-han directly. However, Su-han had already prepared, and saw that the corner of Su-han's mouth rose slightly, his right foot stepped on the ground suddenly, and his body shot out like a shell fired from a chamber. Boom! The moment the two fists collided, the ground exploded instantly, and even the surroundings trembled violently. A huge shock wave spread out from the center of the fists of the two people. Boom! The mountain peaks that were relatively close actually collapsed directly, and the ground under the two of them was cracked like a spider's web. And at the moment when their fists collided, Toppo's body was shocked and took a few steps back. Not only that, under the shock wave of the collision of the two fists, even the members of the Proud team in the distance were shocked by the powerful shock wave and retreated again and again. People who are far behind can be affected, so you can imagine how strong the two are just now. Captain Toppo stayed behind and then retreated. Not only the members of the Proud team were shocked, but even Castler noticed it. Under the confrontation between the two punches just now, Captain Toppo was actually at a disadvantage. How is this possible? You must know that Captain Toppo has always been known for his strength, and his iron fist of justice has never failed at all. And now, he was punched back a few steps by the opponent. On the other hand, Su-han on the other side was actually standing on the spot, and his body was as stable as Mount Tai, as if the punch just now had no effect on him at all. Isn't the speed of this guy amazing? Why is the power so terrifying? Castler froze in place, his expression was already dull. Fighting me head on, you just took a few steps back. I have to say that you are already very powerful, Toppo. Looking at the unbelievable Toppo, Su-han couldn't help but praise him. To Toppo, Su-han's praise was undoubtedly an insult and a provocation. Smug fool, I was just testing your strength just now. I admit that I did underestimate your strength a bit, but do you think that I, Toppo, only have this level? Toppo's eyes were very cold. Almost at the moment the sound fell, he stretched out his 5 fingers, and the energy ball flickered and struck. A flash of justice. After Toppo's voice fell, his fingertips instantly shot countless energy balls in the direction of Su-Han like a machine gun. A boring little trick, Su-Han said coldly. In the next moment, his right hand turned into a light blade, slashing in the air, and countless light blades greeted him. It was so easy to catch Toppo's flash of justice. You think my attack is over? Ridiculous. Justice Iron Fist. At this moment, Toppo's body suddenly appeared in front of Su-Han. Then the fist as big as a sandbag directly hit Su-Han's body. Call out. But the next moment he froze. Just when his fist was 2 centimeters away from Su-Han's chest, Su-Han's body turned sideways slightly like a ghost to avoid his iron fist of justice. Who the hell is this fool? Why is his strength so strong? At this time, Toppo's complexion became more and more ugly. It's fine if the power I'm proud of is shattered in this guy's hands, but I didn't expect that my unexpected blow would be easily resolved by the other party. This took a big blow to Toppo's self-confidence. At the same time, he was even more curious, where did this guy who was not weaker than himself come from? Being able to reach such a powerful level, could it be said that he is a candidate for gods of destruction from other universes like himself? Your attack is over. If that's the case, then it's my turn. Seeing Toppo's tense face, Su-Han said with a light smile. And just when Su-Han was about to make a move, there was a burst of shouting from behind him. Toppo, Captain Toppo, you are finally here, help me teach this arrogant a lesson. Dare to attack Supreme Kai, it's courting death, I'm going to watch him kneel in front of me and admit his mistake later. At this time, the voice of Supreme Kai suddenly came from a distance. Obviously, this guy should have just woken up from a coma. After seeing Captain Toppo and how many proud team members came, he was naturally very confident. It's finally here, and I can finally teach this arrogant fool a lesson. Unfortunately, he woke up. Master Supreme Kai, where are you going? At this time, Castler hurriedly reminded. If Captain Toppo can defeat the opponent, then there is no problem for Supreme Kai to say such words at this time. Even if Su-Han was upset, he didn't dare to do anything. But from the contest between Captain Toppo and that person just now, it can be seen that the strength of the opponent is not weaker than Captain Toppo, even stronger. If that's the case, isn't Master Supreme Kai deliberately looking for abuse when he says such a thing at this time? Sure enough, after hearing Kai's words, Su-Han put down what he was doing, and then turned to look at him. TCH, what are you looking at? Captain Toppo is here now, just wait to be beaten to the ground. Wait a minute, I will never let you go. Supreme Kai raised his chin triumphantly, as if as long as Toppo was here, no one would dare to touch him. Gia, Master Supreme Kai. At this time, Toppo was also in a cold sweat. It was too late to save Supreme Kai. I saw Su-Han's body flashing in front of Supreme Kai. Snapped. A big Bidu sent K back again. If it wasn't for killing Supreme Kai, the gods of destruction of this universe would also disappear along with it. Su-Han might really destroy this idiot Supreme Kai directly. TCH, what a waste of time. After hitting Kai with a slap, Su-Han turned around again and stretched out his palm to block Toppo's fist. For a moment, Toppo seemed to be frozen in midair. On the other hand, Su-Han stood there with a calm face, and it was not difficult to see from his expression that the other party was not under any pressure at all. This actually used one hand to hold Captain Toppo's iron fist of justice. Castler was sluggish, this time completely sluggish. Using one hand to punch Captain Toppo with all his strength, how strong is this person? How is this possible? Toppo opened his mouth in shock, because he wanted to save Supreme Kai, so he didn't show mercy to the punch just now. But he didn't expect that even so, his attack would be so easily received by the opponent. With such strength, I am afraid that only Jiren can handle it. Toppo, your limit should be more than that, why don't you use all your strength to fight me? Su-Han didn't rush to attack Toppo, because in this form, Toppo's strength can only reach the level of Son Goku Shaolin at most, or slightly stronger than Shaolin. But it is completely incomparable with my own pink. So Su-han is not in a hurry to beat the opponent, because he wants to see how much stronger Toppo can become in the state of gods of destruction. And can I handle it without using Ultra Instinct? Use all your strength. Hearing this, Toppo froze for a moment. Could it be that the other party knew his identity as a gods of destruction candidate? But at present, my grasp of the power of destruction is not perfect, and Lord Gods of Destruction has also confessed that I cannot use the power of destruction at will. Otherwise, it may cause irreparable damage to your body. Sorry, although I don't want to admit it, I am indeed not your opponent. Toppo let go of his clenched fist, and the idea of using the power of destruction was finally dispelled. Because he dared not disobey the command of the gods of destruction. Use the power of destruction, Toppo. I know you can do it now. Of course, if you are willing and you are not willing, then forget it, but as the punishment for failure, you have no choice but to run away. After finishing speaking, Su-han's eyes shot a cold light. Then the next moment, the arm suddenly punched heavily in Toppo's abdomen. Boom! Suddenly, Toppo flew horizontally. After smashing 3 mountains in a row, he finally stabilized his body. But even so, Toppo still feels powerful as overwhelming. Vomit. Finally, he spit out a mouthful of acid water. Use the power of destruction, Toppo. I know you don't want to accept defeat, and you can only fight me if you use the power of destruction. Seeing that Toppo was already in a mess, Su-han said in a slightly mocking voice. To be honest, defeating such a Toppo, Su-han didn't have any inner fluctuations at all, because it was nothing to him at all. I just became pink, and the opponent is no longer my opponent, and I still have the power of Mizi, so I didn't use it. Really, do you really want to use the power of destruction? Toppo looked at the hands, and he knew that if he used destructive power rashly, it would have some impact on his body. But if you want to defeat this guy in front of you, I am afraid that only those who use the power of destruction can do it. I'm sorry, Lord Gods of Destruction. I'm not doing it for myself, but for the glory of our entire 11th universe. I'm a candidate for Gods of Destruction, the future Gods of Destruction of the 11th universe. How can I lose to a nobody? So I can't lose to him today no matter what. Toppo pounded the ground with both fists, and let out a roar. And just after roaring in this life, Toppo's body has undergone some changes. Purple energy gushes out from his body. And Toppo's already tattered melee combat suit completely disappeared at this moment. Then replaced by a strange rune. And these runes look very mysterious. It seems that it is precisely because of these runes that the breath of God on Toppo's body suddenly increased several times at this moment. Toppo. Captain Toppo actually used the power of destruction. Looking at the body changes of Toppo in the distance, Castler saw the reason at a glance. And Toppo Castler in this state has only been seen once. I remember the last time I saw the captain in this state, he was like a god of war. It is omnipotent to destroy heaven and earth, and its strength is unimaginable. He could destroy almost anything if he wanted to. This is where the power of destruction is strong. Have you used the power of destruction? This is a bit interesting. After seeing Toppo's destructive power, Su-han finally showed a satisfied expression on his face. What he wants to see is that the other party uses the power of destruction. Because only in this way can he become stronger in battle. After all, a battle without a sense of oppression is completely useless to Su-han. So that's why he asked Toppo to use his destructive power. If you want to make yourself stronger in battle, you need to fight against the strong. Although fighting the weak will highlight your strength, it will not help you improve your strength. I have to admit that your strength is really strong, but today's battle can only end here. From the moment I became like this, there is no need for this battle to continue. 2 purple rays of light shot out from Toppo's eyes, falling on Su-han's body. At this moment, Toppo is very confident, because he is almost omnipotent when he enters the state of gods of destruction. And can use the power of destruction to easily destroy anything. Even Su-han in front of him is the same, as long as he wants to, he can destroy it in an instant. Hee. I know that your strength has become a lot stronger, but it's better not to say big things too early. Because I don't think you can defeat me by becoming like this. Su-han twisted his neck, and then showed an excited smile. He also felt that the power of God in Toppo had been greatly improved, so he became excited at this moment. Stubborn, if that's the case, then I'll show you the power of gods of destruction. Toppo in the state of gods of destruction suddenly stomped the ground, and then shot out like a sharp arrow. The iron fist lingering with the energy of gods of destruction blasted towards Su-han quickly. Well done, let me see how much stronger your strength has become. Su-han didn't dodge, this time he also intended to prove the hard steel. Clenching his fist tightly, his body also blasted out against the oncoming fist. Boom, boom, the moment the two fists collided. A huge shock wave was released instantly, and everything around was blown to pieces by a gust of wind. And the ground under Su-han's feet was centered on Su-han's body, and a circular pit with a diameter of 10 meters was blasted out. Is this the true strength of Captain Toppo? It's too terrifying. It feels like the battle between the two of them can destroy the entire Supreme Kai world. Quincy swallowed. He had never seen Toppo transform into gods of destruction form, so naturally he did not expect such a powerful force to erupt. Is this all your strength? It doesn't look like much. Taking Toppo's iron fist head on, although Su-han's feet sank deep into the ground, he never took a half step back. Arrogance. Toppo also didn't expect the opponent to be so tenacious. Facing his full strength blow, he actually took it down abruptly, without taking half a step back. This made Toppo startled and angry. How could there be such a pervert in this world? It's not rude to come and go, Toppo, since you have used all your strength, let me show you my newly acquired power. Rose Purple Energy. Super Saiyan God Rose Purple. Ha! Accompanied by Su-han's roar, the pink hair that was originally changed slightly at this moment. The color of her hair changed from pink to purple on the outside and pink on the inside, even the arrogance around her body was the same. It seems to be based on rose red, but outside the rose red there is a layer of mysterious purple. It's amazing, is this Mitzi's energy? Although it's just the normal form of a Super Saiyan god, I feel that the power is not weaker than Tao Hong-san. Feeling the huge energy in his body, the corner of Su-han's mouth curled up. Then, under Toppo's incomparably shocked gaze, he flew it out abruptly. Toppo defeat me. Boom. This time it was no longer Su-han who was at a disadvantage, but Toppo, and the absolute force directly knocked Toppo's body back hundreds of meters. Su-han smiled slightly, and then stepped on the ground with his right foot again. Call out. The body burst out immediately, and in the blink of an eye, it was in front of Toppo. Shish. The fists are constantly waving, the speed is extremely fast. No breathing room for Toppo at all. At this time, even though Toppo has become gods of destruction, he is still in a passive position, can only dodge and defend passively, and has no ability to attack again at all. Bang bang bang. Su-han's fist was still pounding towards Toppo like dense raindrops. How did this happen? I have already used the power of destruction and turned into a state of gods of destruction. How could I not be able to keep up with his punching speed? How can this guy's fist be so fast? Toppo's complexion became more and more ugly, and at this moment, his eyesight was getting bigger and bigger, and his forehead was covered with sweat. But he can only retreat while defending. Completely incapable of fighting back. I didn't expect that I, Toppo, would have this day. I was suppressed and I didn't even have a chance to fight back. Toppo also roared loudly in his heart. I am the gods of destruction candidate of the 11th universe, and what I represent is not just the glory of the Pride team, but the glory of the entire 11th universe. And you must know that now I have used the power of destruction. But in this case, they were still being pressed and beaten by the opponent. What they lost was not the face of the Proud team, but the face of the entire 11th universe. Is the face of the gods of destruction Vermut? I must not fail, absolutely not. Toppo roared loudly. But this roar not only failed to change the situation where he was being pressed and beaten, but also made his attack rhythm more chaotic. Even barely being able to handle Su-han's attack was no longer possible. He began to retreat steadily, and the injuries on his body became more and more serious. I am the captain of Team Pride, a candidate for the gods of destruction of the 11th universe. Even in the entire 11th universe, except for Lord Gods of Destruction, there is only one person who has defeated himself, and that is Jiren. But Jiren can no longer be measured by humans, this guy is even praised by gods of destruction. Even hailed as a human beyond the gods of destruction. So in Toppo's eyes, there's no shame in being surpassed or beaten by Jiren. But not now. Not only is the guy in front of him not Jiren, but he has never even heard the other person's name. This situation is unacceptable to Toppo. Ha ha. At this moment, Toppo let out a roar, and then purple energy began to spew out from around his body. And at this moment, Toppo seemed to have stimulated all the remaining energy in his body. The energy on his body instantly increased. It's just that at this moment, Suhan could feel that Toppo's defense and agility speed had all declined. I absolutely can't lose to you, the Jedi can't. Toppo roared, and then punched Suhan in the chest with a heavy blow. Is this going to go the old way of Cell? What a pity. But the battle should be over. A contemptuous smile appeared on Suhan's face. Although Toppo's current approach has indeed improved his own strength, but what is the difference between his current approach and the original Cell? Reduce defense and speed to increase strength. This kind of desperate way, if the attack fails, then the ushered-in will definitely be a failure. And the moment Toppo gave up his defense and his strength, the fight was over. Suhan's speed was already extremely fast, but Toppo dared to give up his speed under such circumstances. It was tantamount to asking for a dead end. Looking at the iron fist that hit on the head, Suhan showed a sneer, and the next moment his fists were blasted out like lightning. Boom! It hit Toppo's chest directly. Crack! There was a crisp bone cracking sound from the board recycling bin, and Toppo's chest sank directly. Then the whole person flew out. Boom! A huge crack was smashed on the ground. You beat Toppo. Suhan looked at Toppo in the place and said in a deep voice. This is impossible. This is absolutely impossible. I entered the state of gods of destruction, but I lost. Toppo looked at his hands in disbelief. He couldn't believe that everything in front of him was real. I actually lost. And it was defeated by using the power of destruction. Lost to a human who didn't even know his name. And this battle seems to be the one that he is destined to lose, because he is completely suppressed by the opponent, and he has almost no strength to fight back. Could it be that this guy's strength has caught up with Jiren? Captain Toppo, you really lost. And he was severely defeated by using the power of destruction. Unexpectedly such a thing happened. Who is this guy, and how did he do it? Could it be that my previous guesses are true? This guy is really a candidate cultivated by gods of destruction from other universes. Castler couldn't believe it at all. Captain Toppo would be defeated. You must know that Captain Toppo has always been the god in the hearts of all of them. Even all the members of their proud team could not shake the existence, but now in front of this unknown man, K seems so vulnerable. Hateful. I represent the face of the entire 11th universe. It is absolutely impossible to lose like this. Toppo clenched his fists tightly, his eyes full of unwillingness. If he is defeated without using the gods of destruction state, it can only show that his skills are inferior to others. But even if the state of gods of destruction is used, the meaning of failure is completely different. Moreover, my candidate for gods of destruction was actually defeated by an unknown person. If such a thing got to the ears of Lord Gods of Destruction Vermut, what face would I have to continue to be this candidate? No matter what, I can't lose. Toppo gritted his teeth, and a terrible thought came to his mind. Since you can't defeat the opponent head-on, then use the power of destruction to completely destroy the opponent. Similarly, only in this way can he save his own face, and save the face of the entire 11th universe. What? Don't plan to give up yet. Seeing the purple energy reappearing from Toppo's body, Suhan just said with a flat face. The opponent is still not his opponent when he is at full strength. How can he be his opponent now that he is injured? So Suhan didn't pay attention to it at all. I will never let you defeat me. After speaking, Toppo's body gushed out purple energy again. But this time, he could feel that the destructive force on Toppo suddenly became much stronger. The eyes shot purple light, and then Toppo's arms stretched out, and in an instant a huge destructive force gathered energy bombs to form. Then he attacked Suhan without any hesitation. This guy, is he going to use the power of destruction to kill me completely if he can't win? If that's the case, don't blame me for being rude. As he said that, Suhan also shot a cold light in his eyes. Then the arms were slowly put on the waist. Super Kamehameha wave. This time Suhan didn't plan to show mercy. Since the other party wanted to destroy him, why did he hold back? I saw the powerful divine power quickly gathering towards Su-han's palm, and Mitzi's energy seemed to flow into Su-han's palm at this moment. Last time, just the power of Tao Hong turned Whis into a roast chicken. I want to see if you can survive under my trick. As soon as the words fell, Su-han didn't hesitate, and directly pushed the Super Kamehameha wave in his hand. Boom, accompanied by two energies colliding together. A powerful energy wave swept over in an instant. At this moment, whether it was Supreme Kai who was knocked out in the distance, or everyone in the Proud team, they all felt the power of death in this stone. This is the battle between God and God. It is simply not what they can imagine. Such power has surpassed their cognition. How is this possible? His divine power actually resisted my destructive power. No. My destructive power was actually suppressed. Toppo was terrified. He didn't expect the opponent's divine power to be so tyrannical. Not only could he resist his own destructive power, but he even suppressed his own destructive power. How could such a thing happen? Only then did Toppo realize the seriousness of the matter. If he didn't want to resist any longer, that powerful energy would definitely swallow up his destructive energy. Just trying to escape now, Toppo takes himself too seriously. Let me go. After finishing speaking, the veins on Su-han's forehead and arms suddenly exploded, and the next moment, the Super Kamehameha in his hand doubled in size. Instantly engulfs Toppo's destructive energy. Boom. Don't give Toppo any chance to dodge at all. The powerful rose-purple Kamehameha wave directly swallowed Toppo's body, and then blasted fiercely to the other end of the Supreme Kai world. Captain Toppo was actually defeated by this guy. Gulu. Supreme Kai's legs trembled a little when he saw this scene. Who the hell is this guy who actually defeated Captain Toppo, and Captain Toppo still lost miserably? Ding. Congratulations to the host for completing the additional task of signing in and getting a reward, 50% destructive power. Big Bang Kamehameha Wave. Listening to the system's notification sound in his mind, Su-han couldn't help showing a look of surprise on his face. Unexpectedly, this time the system actually rewarded 2 missions directly. But it's normal to think about it. After all, the system has said before that this mission will give generous rewards. Captain. Great, the captain is still alive. At this time, Su-han heard Castler's voice. At the same time, Toppo had also been dug out of the rocky ruins by them. At this time, although Toppo saved his life, it is not difficult to see that the situation at this moment is very miserable. Almost no part of his body was healthy, and the clothes on his body were even burnt to ashes. Even the pair of white beards disappeared at this time. It's still alive, forget it and live. This should save some unnecessary trouble. Su-han glanced at Toppo, then shook his head. After all, this guy is a candidate for the gods of destruction of the 11th universe, and he must have high hopes from the gods of destruction Vermut of the 11th universe. If he killed him directly, it would definitely attract Vermut's anger, but it wasn't that Su-han was afraid of Vermut. But before Su-han fights Jiren, he doesn't want to have a head-on conflict with gods of destruction. You must know that the current Su-han not only has mastered the sign of freedom, Super Saiyan God Mizi, but also has 50% of the power of destruction. Although it is definitely not comparable to the real gods of destruction, it is enough for Su-han to fight against the full-strength gods of destruction. Don't come here, don't come here. Su-han just glanced at Supreme Kai, and this guy fell to his knees on the ground in fright. There's no need to waste time on a waste. Su-han shook his head, originally wanted to give this guy another Big Bang, but after thinking about it, he decided to forget it. After all, the shadow area in Supreme Kai's heart will definitely increase again if he continues this big competition. Call out. Accompanied by a sound of piercing through the air, Su-han flew directly into the distance. Su-han has no plans to leave the 11th universe for the time being, although the system's check-in task has been completed. But since they all came to the 11th universe, how could they not fight Jiren? The strongest human being, I want to see if it's you or me. As he spoke, Su-han's mouth suddenly curved. If he hadn't come to this world, then the title of the strongest human being might only fall on Jiren. But since he came here, it is impossible for this title to continue to fall on Jiren. And presumably it won't take long for the news of him defeating Toppo to spread throughout the 11th universe. At that time, Jiren will definitely take the initiative to come to the door. But before that, let's practice fusion of Mitsu's power and Dao Hongsan's power. Meiji-san, although it is a bit difficult, it is not too difficult for Su-han. Gods of Destruction in the 11th universe. At this time, Gods of Destruction Vermut was looking at the crystal ball in his hand, and he was naturally very clear about Su-han's defeat of Toppo before. So it is not difficult to see that although his face is calm at the moment, there is a trace of anger hidden behind the calm face. And beside him, Angel Makarita with 2 ponytails said, he really defeated Toppo. Do you think it's possible for Jiren to beat this guy? Makarita stood beside Gods of Destruction Vermut, and said with a smile. In fact, when Toppo fought with that mysterious man, Makarita saw the result. What puzzled Makarita was that she couldn't see where this guy came from. Of course, Jiren is the strongest human being who physically surpasses Gods of Destruction. Apart from Gods of Destruction, there is no opponent Jiren can't defeat. Gods of Destruction Vermut raised his chin and said very firmly. For Jiren, he has absolute confidence. You must know that although this guy is only human, in terms of strength alone, even the hard steel Gods of Destruction can't be defeated by a terrifying existence. In my mind, Jiren was the first candidate for Gods of Destruction. But it's a pity that this guy is only interested in becoming stronger and finding the murderer who killed his parents, and is not interested in anything else. I even proposed several times to ask the other party to be the candidate for Gods of Destruction, but they were all rejected without exception. So Vermut was so angry that he asked Toppo to be the candidate. If it weren't for Jiren's disapproval of being a candidate for Gods of Destruction, Vermut would never have reserved this position for Toppo. Ho, it's hard to say, dear. That guy who suddenly appeared is very powerful, and Toppo has tried his best to not hurt him at all. Makarita smiled, and then continued, and judging from his performance when he defeated Toppo, I can feel that he still has a stronger power in his body, but he didn't display it. This is also Makarita's real feeling after watching the two fight. My intuition has always been very accurate, so if there is nothing wrong this time, then this guy may really be hiding some stronger power. TCH, then according to what you said now, even Jiren might not be able to defeat them. Vermut looked at Makarita and said slightly unhappy. I didn't say that, it's just that I have some expectations for this little guy, but if you want to beat Jiren, it will not be an easy task. After all, if it wasn't because of repeated rejections, you wouldn't have made Toppo a candidate for Gods of Destruction. Makarita giggled. It can also be seen from this that Jiren's strength is very strong. Is there any way? I've said everything I need to say, but Jiren just doesn't move. Do you want me to beg him? Gods of Destruction Vermut showed a look of hostility on his face. Jiren is more suitable for Gods of Destruction in terms of strength and character. And he, like himself, has justice in his heart. In addition, Jiren is not only his friend but also his apprentice. Logically speaking, he should also inherit his ego. But this guy is focused on finding revenge for the murderer of his parents, and has no interest in the position of Gods of Destruction candidate at all. Even after I have said all the good things, the other party still has no response. Do I want to let myself, Gods of Destruction, beg the other party to be the candidate? This is obviously impossible, and Vermut would never do it. Clack, honey, maybe Jiren is right, but he really has no interest in your position. But Lord Vermut doesn't have to worry about it. Maybe when he finds the murderer who killed his parents and takes revenge, he will suddenly figure it out. Makarita spoke again. That's the only way, this guy Toppo. Hey, it's too embarrassing. Speaking of this, Gods of Destruction Vermut's mind immediately came up with the previous scene of Toppo being punched flying. It's just too embarrassing. This is the reason why I don't let him use the power of destruction. It's okay if I don't need it, at least I don't lose my people. I even lost my own face with it. Joe, let's go. Makarita, Jiren should be there by now, let's go and see this battle. It's up to Jiren to save face now, but I always feel that this battle should not end so easily. Gods of Destruction Vermut looked at Makarita and said. Actually, he is still very interested in the battle between Su-han and Jiren. After all, this guy defeated his candidate Toppo very easily. As Margarita said before, this guy who appeared suddenly seemed to have hidden some kind of power. As far as Jiren's strength is concerned, the strength of the two should be similar if he does not use gods of destruction. Even when the two were fighting before, Jiren was actually slightly better than himself. Of course, this is when gods of destruction Vermut does not use the gods of destruction pass. If you use the gods of destruction pass, it will be completely different. As long as you are still within the supreme universe law, then you will not be able to defeat gods of destruction. So now gods of destruction Vermut is very much looking forward to how far the battle between the two can go. He was really looking forward to this battle. Lord gods of destruction, you were right, I feel the same way. But how far their battle can go, let us go and see. Although Makurita couldn't feel the strength of the opponent, he always felt that the strength of the opponent was definitely more than what he showed when fighting Toppo. Gods of destruction Vermut nodded. On a small, nameless planet, Su-Han has already completed Majisen's training, waiting in place for the arrival of that powerful aura in the distance. If nothing else, the owner of this powerful aura should be Jiren. Call out. With the sound of breaking through the air, a figure resembling an alien in the movie appeared in front of Su-Han. This person was wearing the same tight red and black combat uniform as the Proud Team, with gray skin, an unruly head, and two huge eyes. Sure enough, it's Jiren. Su-Han looked at the familiar figure in front of him, pursed his lips, and said. However, this guy's strength gave Su-Han an unfathomable feeling. While Su-Han was looking at Jiren, Jiren was also looking Su-Han up and down. You're the one who beat Toppo. Before Su-Han could speak, Jiren spoke first. That's right, I'm the one who beat Toppo. Su-Han. Su-Han smiled and walked towards Jiren. This guy is really as strong as described in the original book, and he is not at the same level as Toppo. But it is interesting to face such an opponent, only in this way can one stimulate one's limit. It seems that you are not what Toppo said, you are also a human being, not a demon. Jiren's tone was very indifferent, even a little disappointed. Because I heard from Toppo and the others that this guy might be related to the demon race, that's why I came here so quickly. But I didn't expect that the other party was just an ordinary human being. Of course I'm not a demon, I'm a pure human. Why, looking at you, you seem a little disappointed. Could it be that only demons are qualified to be your opponents? Seeing Jiren's disappointed expression, Su-Han immediately asked. Not at all, but you really don't deserve to be an opponent, and I'm not interested in you either. Jiren's expression was still very aloof and he spoke. Hehe, how do you know that I am not your opponent if you have never seen me make a move? Su-Han spoke again. You really aren't qualified to be my opponent. Although you beat Toppo, I can beat that fellow Toppo with one punch. Jiren's words are very haughty, but he has the capital of haughtiness. And he wasn't exaggerating. I have been teammates with Toppo for many years, every time this guy challenges himself, he is basically defeated by himself with a punch. But since you defeated Toppo, let me compete with you a little bit, anyway, it's already here. Jiren's tone was still very indifferent, as if he didn't pay attention to Su-Han from the moment he saw him. Let's compete a little bit. Your superior attitude really makes people quite uncomfortable. Said Su-Han frowned slightly. This guy really didn't take himself seriously at all. He beat Toppo with one punch, he could do such a thing himself. It's just that Su-Han didn't do this before. Then Su-Han clenched his fists and turned directly into Super Saiyan God Pink. A powerful breath of God gushed out from Su-Han's body in an instant. But even so, Jiren still had a calm face. No wonder you were able to defeat Toppo, probably because of this method of instantly increasing your strength. Jiren looked at Su-Han calmly and said, Come on, let me feel your strength, Jiren. Su-Han didn't pay attention to the other party's words, because at this moment, Saiyan's blood eager to fight was already boiling in Su-Han's body. Now he just wants to compete with the strongest human being in front of him. But Jiren just stood there all the time, without any intention of attacking at all. Because in Jiren's view, although Su-Han's strength has been greatly improved in an instant, if this is the case, he wants to become his opponent. Still not enough, so he had no intention of launching an attack at all. Aren't you going to make a move? In this case, let me attack first. After Su-Han's voice fell, his body suddenly appeared in a flash. When it reappeared, Su-han had already appeared directly above Jiren. Then a sudden kick swept across the past. But facing such an attack, Jiren managed to dodge. He let Su-han's attack hit him on the neck. Boom. There was a sound of skin clashing, and Su-han's ankle slapped Jiren's neck hard. But Jiren didn't move at all, and even his face was very calm, as if this kind of attack didn't hurt him at all, and didn't affect him at all. As expected of Jiren, but in terms of the strength of the strongest human being who can surpass gods of destruction, even the strength of the body is terrifying. Seeing that the other party didn't move at all, Su-han showed a little surprise on his face. Although I guessed that this would be the result, after seeing the purpose in person, I was somewhat shocked. Su-han had heard about this guy's strength. If such an attack wanted to hurt Jiren, it would be weird. Su-han quickly took 2 steps back, and his body appeared in front of Jiren again in a flash. With clenched fists, he alternately attacked Jiren's body like a storm. Shish! The shadows of fists all over the sky came to his face, but Jiren just moved his body lightly to defuse Su-han's attack very easily. His face didn't change at all, and he was still very calm. This guy is really too powerful. Seeing that there was no effect at all, Su-han hurriedly took 2 steps back, then said with a slight frown. Now the gap between me and Jiren is the same as that between Super Blue Son Goku and Jiren in the Tournament of Power. There is no chance of winning at all. If your strength is only like this, then I still say that you are not qualified to be my opponent. And I will not choose to fight with you, Jiren said in a very flat tone. This level of strength is only a little stronger than Toppo. If you want to fight with yourself, this kind of strength is not enough. You are right, such strength really does not qualify to be your opponent. But my strength is more than that. As he said that, Su-han suddenly chuckled. Although the other party was a little proud, where was his strength? Only by facing such an opponent can one's own strength be improved again. Jiren, look how this is. Saying that, Su-han clenched his fists tightly, and the purple energy instantly wrapped Su-han's body. And at this moment, Su-han's hair and eyebrows turned rose purple. The momentum emanating from his body is hundreds of times larger than before. This is Super Saiyan God Rose Purple. Although it is only 20% energy, it is also powerful enough. The strength has actually become stronger again. Feeling the increase of Su-han's energy, Jiren suddenly looked at Su-han. A little astonishment appeared on his face. But in a moment, calm was restored again. Although it has become a lot stronger, it is still a bit short of wanting to fight me. Looking at Su-han, who turned into purple, Jiren said flatly. Beat me first. Su-han gritted his teeth and attacked the opponent again. But this time Su-han's speed was much faster, and even the speed of punching was more than a little bit faster. Facing Su-han's storm-like attack this time, Jiren's face was no longer as calm as before. He couldn't even dodge Su-han's attack with speed, but blocked Su-han's attack with his fist. Interesting. Not only has the momentum improved, but even the strength and speed have been greatly improved. Jiren said softly while resisting Su-han's attack. At this moment, he also slowly regarded Su-han as his opponent. Because the strength shown by the other party really made Jiren feel astonished. My strength doesn't stop there. Saying that, Su-han's punch came out of nowhere. It hit Jiren directly in the chest. Boom. But Jiren just put his arms across his chest, and was immediately attacked by Su-han. But his body was still standing in place, not moving at all. Your strength is still too weak. After blocking Su-han's attack, Jiren spat softly. Then the eyes suddenly became sharp. He punched Su-han hard. And the speed of this punch was so fast that it didn't give Su-han any chance to fight back. You can only passively cross your arms to resist the opponent's attack. Boom. The fists hit Su-han's arms heavily, and the red energy light instantly radiated from Su-han's back. Boom. Su-han's body flew straight out, and finally hit a big mountain. And the moment the mountain touched Su-han's body, it collapsed directly. Phew, is this Jiren's power? It's really terrifying, even Mitzi's power can't be resisted. Su-han stood up and wiped the stains from the corners of his mouth. Both arms are still a little numb, which is enough to see how powerful Jiren's punch is. But isn't this kind of battle just what I need? Only in such a battle can one feel oppressive. And one's own strength can also become stronger in such a battle. The battle is over. I thought you might be able to bring me some unexpected surprises, but now it seems that I guessed wrong. Jiren shook his head. He couldn't even block his own punch, so there was no need to continue fighting. It's too early to say it's over now. And I haven't lost yet. Su-han walked towards Jiren again step by step. Actually, you don't need to come here. Because the gap between you and me is beyond what you can imagine. If you come over again, it will only make you get a few more punches. Looking at Su-han, who was walking slowly towards him with a calm expression, Jiren said helplessly. If this was already Su-han's limit, Jiren really felt that there was no need to fight anymore, because he hadn't used his full strength for the punch just now. Jiren, I know your strength is very strong. I also know that you haven't used all your strength, but how do you know that I have used all my strength? As he spoke, a provocative smile appeared on the corner of Su-han's mouth. Be careful, don't wait to be defeated by me, it will be ugly. Although the punch just now made Su-han deeply feel Jiren's terrifying strength, but it didn't make Su-han afraid of Jiren's strength. Instead, it made Su-han even more excited. Aha! Suddenly, Su-han roared again. Rumble! The mountain peak behind Su-han actually shattered in response to the sound, directly turning into dust all over the sky. And at this moment, powerful rose-purple energy gushed out from around Su-han's body. Use all your strength to fight me, Jiren. Su-han stared at Jiren closely, and said. But this time Jiren had a very rare smile on his face. A contemptuous smile, even a mocking smile. To be honest, you do look a little better now, but if you want me to fight you with all my strength, you are still far behind. Drink. Jiren's complexion suddenly changed, and terrifying crimson energy erupted from his body instantly. It was obvious that Jiren was going to take Su-han seriously at this moment. Because Su-han's explosive strength is indeed qualified to help him do warm-up exercises. At the moment when the powerful aura of the two burst out, countless mountain peaks were instantly crushed into powder. Shish! The next moment, the bodies of the two rushed out in a flash. Two energies, one purple and one red, collided continuously in the air. And as the two continued to fight each other, one after another, the sonic rings flickered in the air. Almost every time the two collided, the entire planet would shake violently. And on the ground under their feet, a huge circular pit appeared. It's been a long time since anyone has been able to fight me this far. I have to say, you are already very good. Jiren and Su-han kept shaking their fists. Every time the two fists collide, the two will become extra excited. And Jiren's performance is obviously the more excited one. Because no one has been able to fight him to this point for a long time. And this feeling is really cool. What, are you still saying that I am not worthy to be your opponent? The corners of Su-han's mouth turned up, showing an excited smile as well. How could he not be excited about such a battle? Moreover, Su-han felt that almost every time his body collided with Jiren, his strength would become stronger. This also means that his own strength gradually becomes stronger with such battles. Cut, barely deserve to be my opponent. Jiren snorted coldly. At the same time, the fist was filled with crimson energy, and it was punched out with a punch. Clearly, Jiren turned up the power of the punch. Come on, Jiren, be a stepping stone on my road to becoming stronger. Facing the oncoming attack, Su-han didn't choose to dodge, but directly waved his fists to attack it. Boom boom boom. The moment the two fists collided, the air seemed to explode. The sonic circle caused by the fist collision swept across the entire planet in an instant. At this moment, the planet under their feet shattered. And Su-han's body flew upside down for a distance of tens of meters, and finally stabilized his body. Then the eyebrows frowned slightly, and the tyrannical breath of God gushed out from Su-han's body again. The rose-purple pupils shone with excitement at this moment. This guy has already reached his limit before, but now his strength is still getting stronger. Could it be that what this guy said is true? Is he really using me as a stepping stone? Quote. Jiren thought to himself. Because he had discovered that Su-han's body had reached its limit before, but this guy's body seemed to be able to become stronger in battle, and after every fight with him, his strength actually improved. This is the first time Jiren has met such a guy. But since I'm the stepping stone, I want to see if your feet are hard enough. As he said that, Jiren's voice suddenly roared out, and he swept towards Suhan with a kick. And Suhan hastily extended his arms to block Jiren's attack. Boom! The moment Jiren's instep brushed Suhan's arm, Suhan's body was sent flying by itself. Before Suhan stabilized his figure, Jiren's body appeared behind him again. Boom! Suhan was not given any chance to dodge and defend at all. The heavy punch hit Suhan directly on the back. And Suhan's body flew out directly in response, and then smashed a circular deep pit with a diameter of about 10 meters on the ground. Although it looked a bit embarrassed, at the moment Jiren attacked, Suhan almost hit his back with all the power of God in his body. This dissipated most of the power. Otherwise, if Jiren's almost exhausted blow just now hit his back unreservedly, I am afraid that the current self will not be able to continue fighting Jiren. You have persisted in my hands until now and have not lost, you can already be proud. But the battle can only end here. The next attack, I want to see if you can catch it. Jiren looked at Suhan in surprise, and said with a gloomy expression. He didn't expect that in the situation just now, the opponent could still block his attack. For some reason, at this moment, Jiren actually felt worried. Because I have never seen a guy who can become stronger in battle. Jiren looked at Suhan's eyes from disdain at the beginning to seriousness now. It is enough to prove that Suhan's strength made Jiren feel the pressure. The next attack, let me see if you can continue. Jiren looked at Suhan sharply, and said in a low voice. And the moment Jiren's voice fell, his body turned into crimson light again and rushed out. Call out. Accompanied by an ear-shattering sound of piercing through the air, a crimson afterimage appeared in front of Suhan immediately. The fist slammed towards Suhan without any warning. And this punch is not difficult to see from Jiren's serious expression. Jiren is really serious at this time. The crimson fist made a piercing sound in the air. But Suhan just showed a smile when faced with the full-strength punch, and didn't make any reaction, not even a defensive posture. He just said in a flat tone, "It seems that Jiren is really serious about this punch. But it's the effect I want." And just when Jiren thought that Suhan had seen his strength and planned to give up resistance, Jiren's heavy punch actually penetrated Suhan's body directly. This is afterimage. A look of shock appeared on Jiren's face when he saw that his serious punch had missed. Because Suhan just dodged his own attack. Even Jiren didn't see it clearly. No, if it's just fast, I can't be unaware. Could it be an ability that can instant transmission body? That's when Jiren realized it. But at this moment, Suhan's body suddenly appeared behind Jiren, and then the fist wrapped in the power of God smashed hard on Jiren's back. Boom! Jiren never thought that the other party would attack him at this time, and then he was completely unprepared and was sent flying by Suhan's punch. The body flew backwards very quickly, and finally smashed the hill in the distance before stabilizing the body. Although he looked a little embarrassed, it was not difficult to see that Jiren was not seriously injured. But in the face of the serious Jiren, Suhan is already very satisfied with such an effect. Humph! Jiren stood up and snorted coldly. Then continued, "It seems that you have mastered an ability that can instant transmission body. However, even if your ability can move your body in an instant, there will still be breath when you use it. I guarantee that this move will never work on me a second time." Jiren stared at Suhan with sharp eyes. It seems that Suhan's punch just now made him suffer a great insult. I was actually beaten. How come no one else has been able to do this for so many years except Lord Gods of Destruction? You're right, but I don't intend to continue using such tricks. Suhan didn't expect to be able to use this kind of tactic one more time, and it was already not easy to achieve success once. But when he wanted to attack Jiren again, suddenly, I felt two powerful divine breaths approaching in the distance. As for the masters of these two auras, Suhan can guess who they are without even thinking about them. I am afraid that apart from gods of destruction Vermut and Angel Makurita, there will be no one else in the entire 11th universe. Could it be that Vermut couldn't sit still, and came here at this time? But if you don't care about gods of destruction's face, then I don't need to show you face. Saying that, Suhan's eyes became cold. If the opponent just came to watch the battle and give Jiren a dominance, then Suhan would ignore it, but if the opponent dared to directly intervene in their battle, then Suhan will never be polite. The reason why Su-Han has not used the energy of Super 3 Rose Purple is to prevent such a thing from happening. But if Vermut really wants to take this step, then Su-Han doesn't have to care too much. The big deal is to use the unlimited instant transmission to leave. Whoa, whoa, two cracking sounds suddenly sounded. Soon, a clown-like gods of destruction, and a tall female angel, dressed the same as Angel Wisp but with two ponytails, appeared in front of Su-Han and Toppo. Lord Vermut. Jiren nodded to gods of destruction Vermut. Although it is something Jiren hates to be interrupted in battle, the other party is his half-master after all, so there is still due respect, which is Jiren's principle. Jiren, are you hurt? Gods of destruction Vermut frowned, his face suddenly became serious. Even the guy from Toppo did it. Can actually hurt Jiren, could it be said that this guy is really so powerful? Jiren nodded, although Su-Han's attack just now did not cause her to be particularly seriously injured, but an injury is an injury. He will not hide, nor will he escape. Hearing Jiren's answer, gods of destruction Vermut's face was obviously a little unhappy. Then he said in a cold tone, that fellow Toppo has already disgraced our 11 universe, Jiren, I don't want this to happen to you. After saying that, gods of destruction Vermut glanced coldly at Su-Han, and then took Makurita and flew into the distance. Obviously, there was no attempt to stop the fight between the two of them. After all, this is just a battle between the strongest human beings. As gods of destruction, if I rashly intervene in the battle between two humans, I will definitely be ridiculed by other gods of destruction. So even if he was angry in his heart now, he would definitely not dare to vent it out by himself. And the anger in his heart wants to vent, and now he can only let Jiren do it for himself. Lord Gods of Destruction has no reason to be angry. We have also seen before that this guy's strength is improving very fast, so it is reasonable to hurt Jiren. But right now Jiren has just finished warming up. If you want to defeat the serious Jiren, I'm afraid even Master Vermut who doesn't use supernatural powers can't do it. Quote. Seeing Vermut's gloomy face, Makurita suddenly giggled. Cut. So what? Who told Jiren to give up his position as a candidate for Gods of Destruction? And the moment he gave up this position also means that he will never win against me. Having said this, Gods of Destruction Vermut suddenly showed a smile on his face. Although I couldn't defeat Jiren without using the Gods of Destruction pass, it was also because Jiren refused to become a candidate for Gods of Destruction. As a result, Jiren cannot learn Gods of Destruction, and in this case, Jiren will never be his opponent. Chapter 51. Su-Han and Jiren stared at each other for a long time, but neither of them took the lead. Then at this moment, Jiren suddenly said in a cold voice, "That's it. Although you did get some good results in the SMART test, you can only go so far." After saying that, Jiren's body gushed out crimson energy. The crimson energy was so powerful that even Su-Han felt a chill at this moment. Although Vermut did not directly explain what he said just now, it has basically been clarified. So now even if Jiren doesn't want to beat Su-Han as soon as possible, in order to save the face of the 11th universe, he must now defeat Su-Han in the shortest possible time. That's it, is it? But I don't think so. Although he knew that the energy emitted by Jiren was very powerful, Su-Han didn't think he would lose. Last blow. Jiren ignored Su-Han, but spit out 4 words in a cold voice. Then the arms were clenched tightly, and the crimson arrogance enveloped Jiren's entire arm, and even the space around Jiren began to distort. Obviously Jiren didn't have any reservations about this blow, he wanted to beat Su-Han in the shortest time. HMPH, it looks like Jiren understands what I mean, and is going to kill that guy directly. Seeing this, a gloomy smile appeared on Gods of Destruction Vermut's face. He is naturally very familiar with Jiren's move, because when he fought Jiren before, every time Jiren used this move, he basically wanted to end the fight. And no one knows better than Vermut how powerful this blow really is. Not necessarily, Master Vermut, have you forgotten that I said before that this guy has some power hidden in his body, so I think he might be able to survive Jiren's move. Angel Makurita whispered in Gods of Destruction Vermut's ear. From the very beginning, she felt that this guy from the universe was unusual, but she couldn't tell where it brought her this feeling. Even Makurita wondered if the energy belonging to Angel was hidden in this guy's body, otherwise, how could she have such a strong guess? But it won't be long before the mystery is revealed. Under Jiren's terrifying blow, Makurita believed that the other party would definitely use his hidden power. Your strength is very strong. If I have the chance, I hope to fight with you again. The premise is that if there is a chance. Ended. A low voice came from Jiren's mouth. Boom. Then Jiren's fist blasted out of thin air, and the crimson energy was like a huge angry dragon, hitting Su-Han very fast. Naturally, Su-Han also sensed the great power of this move. Immediately did not dare to have the slightest hesitation. Raising his hands to form a calyx, he growled, Big Bang, Kamehameha Wave. Seeing that huge red angry dragon attacking his face, Su-Han directly used all the divine power in his body. Gather all the power of God in the last blow. Boom. Accompanied by the impact of two powerful images, the planet under their feet completely disintegrated in an instant, turning into bits of dust. And the shock wave set off by the energy explosion cleans up all the surrounding planets and meteorites. Even if Makurita hadn't hastily deployed the barrier in the end, I'm afraid the entire 11th universe would have been severely impacted. It actually resisted my attack. Jiren's brows trembled slightly, and the whole person froze for a moment. But now he didn't have time to marvel, and increased his strength again. In an instant, the crimson angry dragon became several times bigger again. It actually directly pushed Su-Han's big explosion Kamehameha wave back. Is this all Jiren's power? Can't even stop the Big Bang Kamehameha wave. Su-Han clenched his teeth, the veins on his arms were already bulging. Even the power of God in his body was consumed by this blow, but he couldn't resist Jiren's strongest blow. Have you reached the limit? Jiren, the strongest human being. Are you kidding me? The strongest human being is absolutely impossible to be Jiren. At this time, the energy on Su-Han's body suddenly soared, unexpectedly pushing the energy to the center of the two of them again abruptly. This actually withstood Jiren's final blow. There is such a thing. That guy Makurita Jiren must have let the water go. Gods of Destruction Vermut couldn't believe the scene in front of him. Even he had to spend a lot of effort to deal with this blow, but now Su-Han did it. There is no Master Vermut, Makurita said with a deep expression. I thought that Su-Han would use the hidden energy in his body in this situation, but he didn't expect that it had reached such a point that the other party still didn't use that hidden power. This can't help but make Makurita start to doubt, could it be that she guessed wrong? But my intuition has always been accurate. Boom. The last two powerful energy waves exploded directly in the air after they still couldn't hold on in the air. The shock waves produced by the two powerful energy explosions directly knocked Su-Han and Jiren back several hundred meters. Although Su-Han retreated a little more, the excited expression on his face seemed to announce his victory. This guy. Toppo clenched his fists and looked at each other in disbelief. He didn't expect that the guy who couldn't open his eyes at all at first had already fought with him to this point. But your body has reached its limit, admit defeat. You can't beat me. Although Jiren is also injured to a certain extent at the moment, compared to Su-Han, he is already very good. Facing Jiren's cries, Su-Han didn't pay attention. Because at the same time, the voice of the system came out in Su-Han's mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden task and stimulating the ultimate potential. Reward: 80% rose purple energy, rainbow energy. 80% rose purple energy. After hearing the system prompt sound in his head, Su-Han became excited. I myself have 20% of the rose energy, plus the 80% of the rose energy rewarded by the system now. This also means that I can completely achieve Mitzi's full attack rate now. Gulu. Su-Han swallowed. He didn't expect how powerful the system was this time. But it's normal to think about it. The battle between himself and Jiren really made him break through the limit. Su-Han can clearly feel that his strength has become stronger obviously. Stubborn. Since you don't admit defeat, then I can only fight until you admit defeat. Seeing that Su-Han ignored him at all, Jiren immediately clenched his fists. In the next moment, his body turned into a stream of light and rushed towards Su-Han's direction. The crimson energy swam in Jiren's arms, sending out bursts of dragon chant. It's over, there's no need to read on. This guy's physical stamina and divine power have been exhausted. It is absolutely impossible to avoid Jiren's fist. Gods of Destruction Vermut proudly raised his chin and laughed. Just after the two confronted each other just now, he noticed that although Su-Han had resisted Jiren's attack, both his physical strength and his divine power had been exhausted, so there was no need for him to continue watching the next battle. Up. Su-Han is sure to lose. I'm afraid it's not that simple. Makurita frowned, although he also knew that Su-Han's energy was exhausted. But looking at the confident smile on Su-Han's face, I don't know why it gave Makurita some illusions. Maybe this guy can really beat Jiren. Are you going to lower your resistance? HMPH. It's over. Facing Su-Han's appearance that he didn't intend to defend at all, Jiren just snorted coldly. With bursts of heavy punches of Dragon Chance, it directly hit Su-Han's chest. But what happened in the next second made everyone stunned. Snapped. Su-Han stretched out his palm and caught Jiren's fist very easily. What? After seeing this scene, Jiren's face revealed a look of incomparable shock. Isn't this guy's stamina exhausted? It is so possible to block his own attack, what is going on? But facing Jiren's extremely shocked expression, Su-Han just smiled slightly. Then he said, Jiren, you were right. It's over. But you are the one who loses. After speaking, Su-Han clenched his fist with his right hand, and the rose-purple energy directly wrapped Su-Han's arm. Brush. There was a sound of breaking through the air, and Su-Han's fist hit Jiren's chest like lightning. Without warning, Jiren had no chance to defend himself. Crack. Accompanied by the crisp bone-cracking sound, Jiren's body flew out like a shell. Boom. It smashed countless meteorites in succession, and finally fell directly on the protective barrier arranged by Makurita. Makurita, what happened? Isn't this guy's energy exhausted? How could it be Jiren who was sent flying? At this time, Gods of Destruction Vermut's whole body exploded. The clown-like shape was even more directly established at this moment. Just now he was just a hesitant Setsuna, but when he regained his composure again, Su-Han directly sent Jiren flying. I don't know very well, but what is certain now is that this guy must have hidden power. Makurita froze for a moment. The energy in Su-Han's body was indeed exhausted just now, but why did it suddenly seem to have all recovered? And not only that, but how much stronger his strength has become. What the hell is going on? For a while, Makurita became more interested in Su-Han, and now he wants to know where Su-Han is from. And he seems to have a lot of secrets. Not only that, Makurita still felt that there was some kind of power hidden in the other party. I have been attracting myself. Now let me feel the true power of the total attack rate Mizi. Looking at Jiren who had stood up in the distance, Su-Han felt even more eager to release all of Mitzi's energy. Ha. Su-Han spread his legs, posed a posture, and then suddenly roared out in a low voice. Boom. Accompanied by Su-Han's roar, the whole ground began to tremble crazily. During Setsuna, the originally bright sky was suddenly shrouded in darkness. The rose-purple energy spewed out from Su-Han's body like Wang Yang. A sound of thunder, accompanied by lightning, fell from the sky. Rustling, and the rose-purple energy around Su-Han's body was even shrouded in a layer of pink lightning. Add Su-Han's upside-down rose-purple short hair. For a moment, Su-Han became extremely mysterious. This guy's strength has actually become stronger again. At this moment, Gods of Destruction Vermut had calmed down from the shock, and his expression was extraordinarily gloomy. It seemed as if an attack would be launched on Su-Han in the next moment. Such a strong person may have already surpassed Jiren. And how hard I have cultivated Jiren and Toppo is so that the next time Xeno selects a high-level universe, the 11th universe can be successfully promoted to a high-level universe. But now this guy Su-Han came out of nowhere. Not only has he defeated Toppo, but now he is about to defeat Jiren. If this continues, all his plans will be disrupted by him. Because every once in a while Xeno will choose one of the strongest universes from their 10 low-level universes to advance to the high-level universe. And Vermut is working hard for this spot. But now suddenly there is such a powerful guy, although I still don't know which universe this guy is from, but I can be sure that it will definitely affect the rating of my universe. No matter how long I have worked hard, how could I let a human being who came out of nowhere destroy my plan? So I must not let this guy live. But in the end Gods of Destruction Vermut stopped planning to do it. Because Jiren not only stood up again at this time, but his aura also became stronger. Toppo stared directly at the strengthened Su-Han, and then said indifferently, even if you have acquired a good strength. You still can't be my opponent. Although Jiren was injured at the moment, it still didn't affect his confident voice. After all, in the entire universe, no one has ever been his opponent. Yes, I think you take yourself a little too seriously. Su-han responded lightly. He didn't take the other party's words to heart at all. Although Su-han didn't look much better than Jiren on the surface, in fact, after obtaining the system's rose energy, his injuries have fully recovered. And now his body has reached its peak state. So the current Su-han doesn't take Jiren seriously at all, and the current Jiren is no longer his opponent at all. Drink. Toppo didn't pay attention to Su-han's words, instead he roared angrily. A deep roar came from his throat, and at this moment, crimson energy exploded from Jiren's body. The tattered tights on his body suddenly burst open. It showed Jiren's muscular upper body in full. The crimson energy roared like an angry dragon. Jiren's strength has also exceeded the limit. It seems that the outcome of this battle is still unknown. But no matter what, Jiren's strength can be strengthened again thanks to this human being. Speaking of this, a sinister smile appeared on Gods of Destruction Vermut's face. Because no matter the outcome, he will not let Su-han leave the 11th universe alive, and he will not let anyone mess up his plan. Master Vermut, although I don't want to pour cold water on you. But that guy is really not easy. Even if Jiren has exploded with great strength now, it may not be an easy task to defeat that guy. Angel Makarita, who was beside Vermut, saw the excited expression appearing on Vermut's face again, and immediately hit him. In fact, it can't be regarded as a blow. Makarita is just being factual, that's how it is. It's not that Makarita is underestimating Jiren, but that she can clearly feel the extent of Su-han's current strength. And if her induction is correct, then Su-han still has hidden powers that have not been displayed. On the other hand, Jiren is basically at the limit now, even if he can surpass it in battle and make his strength stronger. Can't catch up with Su-han either. Gods of Destruction Vermut frowned, and then looked at him suspiciously. Jiren's strength has also improved a lot, how can you be sure that that guy can defeat the current Jiren? Gods of Destruction Vermut naturally also noticed this, but because Jiren was his half-disciple, he somehow didn't want to admit it. If there is no accident, it should be like this. Makarita nodded, because just when Su-han burst into strength, Makarita had already seen that this battle Jiren was doomed to lose. It's not that Makarita doesn't believe in Jiren's strength, it's just that Su-han's strength after becoming stronger is really too strong, even now Jiren's strength has also been improved. But the strength between the two is still irreparable. TCH, I really don't know which Gods of Destruction trained such a guy, could it be that Beerus? After listening to Makarita's words, Gods of Destruction Vermut couldn't help but rubbed his chin and began to think. The first possibility Vermut thought of was that this guy might be a member of Gods of Destruction Beerus. Although he didn't want to admit it, Beerus's strength was top-notch even among the 12 Gods of Destruction. It is also very possible to cultivate such a powerful guy. So this guy is more likely to be the 7th universe. By the way, Makarita, since we can't see which universe this guy comes from, then what race has the ability to change form and improve its own strength? You should be able to find out about this. Gods of Destruction Vermut suddenly thought of something, and asked Makarita. Hey, I didn't expect Master Vermut to think of it here. If we do this, we can indeed find out his race. Speaking of which, Makarita picked up the staff in her hand and looked it up. Soon, Makarita found all the information about Saiyan. Saiyan, 6th universe and 7th universe. After getting the news, Vermut immediately narrowed his eyes, thinking even more in his heart. According to that guy Champa's character, he shouldn't let his own people come to his universe to make trouble. After all, he and Champa have always been inseparable. Not so if it's that Beerus. This fool must have been sent by Beerus. Blanche, no matter what the outcome is, I will never let him leave the 11th universe alive. Speaking of Gods of Destruction, Vermut's face showed a smear of hostility, and his whole body exuded an endless aura of destruction. At this time, on the other side, Jiren had completely released the power in his body. Obviously, at this moment he is stronger than before. Perhaps it was because he was unwilling to be defeated, that's why Jiren burst out with even more terrifying power under this pressure. But even so, Su-han didn't feel any pressure. Instead, he only showed a faint smile. Looking at Jiren's body covered in crimson flames, Suhan said flatly. Is this all your strength, Jiren? That's right. This is all my strength. Although I know that your current strength is very strong, not even weaker than mine, but I will definitely not admit defeat. Jiren nodded slowly, the arrogance and coldness before could no longer be seen on his face. Because he gradually recognized Suhan's strength. Even this fight made Jiren even more excited. Obviously, although Jiren felt the pressure after Suhan became stronger, it also made Jiren excited. Because his own strength was also surpassed in this situation. Then come on, I can also take this opportunity to experience Mitzi's true power. The corner of Suhan's mouth curled up. Now Suhan can't wait to try the power of Mitzi's total attack rate. Don't get too carried away. Jiren snorted coldly. Call out, take the initiative to launch an attack in the next second. Although he was a little upset, Jiren knew very well that Suhan was very strong now, and it might not be easy to defeat him. So Jiren didn't have any reservations now, and directly punched Suhan with all his strength. And a smug smile appeared on Suhan's face, and then he punched out directly. Boom! At the moment when the two fists collided, it seemed that in a Setsuna's time, the whole sky fell silent. After a moment of silence, the space under their feet seemed to be distorted, and there were crackling sounds. If it wasn't for the protective barrier that Makarita had set up, the entire universe would have trembled at the moment their punches collided. How is this possible? Just after the fists of the two collided together, a heavy look was evident on Jiren's face. This guy is in the same state as before. And not only that, Jiren could clearly feel that Suhan didn't use his full strength in this punch. This time Jiren was completely shocked, although after being punched by this guy before, Jiren discovered that this guy's strength has changed drastically. But Jiren still feels that the opponent's strength should still be weaker than his own, or about the same as his own. But from this punch, Jiren could clearly feel that Suhan's strength had reached an unimaginable level. He has completely surpassed himself. You must know that I have no reservations about the punch just now, but this guy still has a calm face, as if he didn't take it seriously when he was serious about it. Thinking of this, Jiren's face turned pale. Isn't this the expression I had at the beginning? I didn't expect the roles to be reversed now. Hateful, how can there be such a thing in this world? His strength is not as good as mine just now, how could he surpass me in an instant? This is impossible. Toppo let out a low growl, and then used both fists together to launch a crazy attack on Suhan. Although Jiren punched extremely fast every time, even above the fist was mixed with the roar of the Crimson Angry Dragon. But even so, at this moment, he has no advantage at all, and every punch Jiren slams is completely dispelled by Suhan one by one. Impossible, impossible. While roaring, Jiren frantically attacked Suhan. But it can be seen that under the continuous attacks, Jiren's state has become worse and worse. Even the speed of punching is slowly decreasing. Is this the strength of Mitzi's total attack rate? It is indeed much stronger than I imagined. This battle has gradually lost its meaning. Suhan said coldly. The current Suhan can completely suppress Jiren without even maximizing the energy of Rose Purple under the full attack rate. So if Suhan uses all of Mitzi's energy, Jiren will have no chance of winning. Battle lost its meaning. Hearing this, Jiren was stunned for a moment. Then the expression on his face suddenly became gloomy. This is impossible. I can't lose. I haven't found the murderer of my parents yet. How could I, Jiren, lose here? I can never fail. Toughness is justice, and toughness is absolute. If you can't win, it's meaningless. If you lose, you'll lose everything. Just like the clansmen who were killed back then. I don't want to be treated like that again. So, I absolutely cannot lose. Saying that, Jiren's eyes suddenly became fiery. What? Ah, 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 ah. Then in the next moment, an incomparably powerful aura suddenly spewed out of his body, crimson energy surged from Jiren's body like angry dragons. And everything around, when it touched the crimson energy released from Jiren's body, it was all crushed into fine powder. And after Jiren's roar ended, his whole body seemed to swell up. Not only that, but his gray skin had turned reddish. Jiren's potential, exploded. Sensing the ferocious energy that hit his face, Gods of Destruction Vermut was stunned. But in the next moment, a hidden smile that was hard to suppress appeared on Vermut's face. Ha ha ha. Jiren was forced to unleash the potential in his body. Makurita, have you seen that? I am a bit reluctant to kill that guy now. It actually helped Jiren stimulate the potential in his body. Gods of Destruction. Vermut's smiling face contorted. Because at this moment he could clearly feel the powerful power of Jiren, he might not be able to easily defeat Jiren even by himself. That's right, Master Vermut, Jiren's current strength is indeed super powerful. It could be that Jiren was cornered and recalled the trauma, but it was a surprise. Margarita said with a smile. Although she also knows that Jiren's strength has been greatly improved after awakening, even a leap. But Makurita always felt that even so, the result of this battle was still leaning on Suhan's side. If you can't defeat even a human being, how can you find the murderer who killed your parents and clansmen? So I will never lose. Aha! Jiren roared again. The powerful crimson energy will rise from the sky, forming a protective layer on Jiren's body. Then come on Jiren. After Suhan saw this scene, he was also slightly surprised. He also didn't expect Jiren to stimulate the potential in his body under such circumstances. But it's interesting in this way, and I can also unleash all the power of Mitzi's full attack rate. Suhan looked seriously at Jiren, who was covered in red. His eyes became serious. Then he clenched his fists. Rose-purple energy burst out from Suhan's body in an instant. Scrub. But this time Suhan didn't intend to hold back anymore. He wanted to release all the energy of Super Saiyan God Mitzi's full attack rate. In Setsuna's eyes, two kinds of energies, rose-purple and rose-red, spewed out from Suhan's body. But this time it was different from before. This time it was not only spraying, but even the powerful energy tightly wrapped the entire area behind Suhan. And his body flickered in the thunder and lightning, which added a touch of kingly domineering to him. Call out! Call out! For a moment, the bodies of Suhan and Jiren disappeared almost at the same time, and each turned into an afterimage formed by a collection of energy, colliding continuously in the air. The speed of the two is so fast that people can only see some vague afterimages fragmentarily, and it is impossible to capture the body movements of the two. All I could see was the explosion of sound circles in the air one after another. At this time, even Makurita's expression became serious. Although both he and Gods of Destruction Vermut could see their actions clearly, they were still amazed. Because of everything that these two people have shown, whether it is strength, speed or the ultimate ability of the body to explode. All have reached the point of a formal Gods of Destruction. Even if it has surpassed some of the less powerful Gods of Destruction. Master Vermut, I think if Jiren is willing to inherit your position, he should be qualified to become a real Gods of Destruction now. Makurita looked at Gods of Destruction Vermut's dignified expression, and said with a smile. In Makurita's heart, whether it is Jiren or this mysterious man from the 7th universe, they all have the qualifications to become the official Gods of Destruction. But unfortunately, if it is only strength, without mastering the power of destruction and communicating with Gods of Destruction, it is obviously impossible to be a real Gods of Destruction. TCH, Makurita, don't bother me. What the hell is Jiren doing? Hasn't his physical potential been stimulated? Why can't he defeat the sent by Beerus? Speaking of Gods of Destruction, Vermut couldn't help clenching his fists, watching the passionate battle between the two of them. Even this Gods of Destruction was a little excited. I'm afraid it's not that simple. Makurita underestimated her laughter. Seeing that the other party had no time to pay attention to her, she stopped talking. She was very puzzled. Why didn't Suhan use the power hidden in his body? Could it be that he still couldn't fully grasp it, or didn't intend to use that power at all, but wanted to stimulate the limit of his body in the battle? Not only that, there is still a doubt in Maka's heart. Since this guy may be cultivated by the Lord Gods of Destruction, then the identity of the other party should also be a candidate for Gods of Destruction. But it is convenient for Toppo, who uses the power of destruction. Even when he was cornered by Jiren, he never used the power of destruction. Could it be that Suhan is actually unable to use the power of destruction? Or even the same situation as Jiren, who didn't accept the position of Gods of Destruction candidate at all? But Makurita thought for a while, and found that this was the only possibility. Otherwise, how could the other party have not used the slightest destructive power so far? And whenever the opponent uses a little bit of destructive power, he will be aware of it. Boom boom boom. Bang bang bang. The bodies of the two are still intertwined, and the fists are constantly colliding with each other. And at this moment, every part of their bodies seemed to have turned into sharp weapons, constantly attacking their opponents unexpectedly. I won't lose. Jiren roared and punched Su-han in the face. At the same time, Su-han also kicked Jiren in the face, and their bodies flew out at the same time. When the two of them stood up again, Jiren's face was already a little red and swollen, and even one eye was bulging high and turned purple. On the other hand, Su-han, who was also beaten by himself, looked like a normal person, except for some stains on his face. There were no scars at all. Because at this moment, although he can still rely on the strength of his body, he can fight tenaciously with Su-han. But the strength of the two is still far apart. Even though Jiren has tried his best, it is still very difficult, even impossible, to defeat Su-han. But Jiren clenched his fists tightly, heart full of reconciliation. But the opponent's strength is much stronger than his own. Even if Jiren stimulated his potential, he still couldn't beat his opponent. Impossible. How can I lose here? Jiren, will never admit defeat. Ha ha. Jiren growled again. A deafening sound came out of his mouth immediately. Then, Jiren raised his hands, and the condensed energy ball that gathered the remaining energy in his body was instantly condensed in Jiren's hands. Although it is not destructive energy, but the crimson energy ball that Jiren can gather with the energy of his whole body contains endless energy. After seeing this scene, gods of destruction Vermut couldn't help but frown violently. It looks like Jiren's body has really reached its limit, otherwise he wouldn't have used this move. Gods of destruction looked at Jiren solemnly. As Jiren's half-master, he naturally knew how powerful this move was. But at the same time as using this move, it also means that Jiren's body has reached its limit and he cannot continue to fight, and this final blow is also the result of Jiren draining all the energy from his body. If this blow defeats the opponent, the winner is Jiren. But if this blow fails to defeat the opponent, Jiren will not even have the strength to stand up. To push Jiren to this point, Beerus, why did you send such a pervert? Gods of destruction Vermut stared directly at the battlefield without any hesitation. For fear of missing the most exciting scene. At this moment, Jiren used his last strength to smash the energy ball to Su-han. But when Su-han faced Jiren's final blow, he didn't show any panic expression. His face remained calm, because although Jiren's final attack is powerful, it is not a great threat to Su-han, who has a full attack rate of Mizi. And when the crimson energy ball was only a few meters away from Su-han's body suddenly charged up. Facing the mighty energy ball, Su-han didn't have any fear, but suddenly pulled out his right leg and swept it directly. Boom! Accompanied by a low voice, the huge energy ball was swept away by Su-han's kick. Call out! The energy ball finally landed directly on the protective barrier arranged by Makarita, and then exploded. Boom! A huge wave of energy swept over immediately, and even at this moment, even the protective barrier was blasted into cracks. What? Seeing Su-han effortlessly kicking his last blow away, Jiren's face instantly turned pale. At the same time, Jiren fell to his knees on the ground in a daze. It wasn't because he was afraid of Su-han's terrifying strength, but because after the last blow, Jiren's body had no strength left. I lost. You win. Jiren knelt down on the ground. Even though he saw that Su-han was attacking him head-on, he didn't react at all. Lost. The moment the final blow was easily kicked away by Su-han, Jiren knew that he had completely lost. Even now, even if I don't admit it, it's okay. That last blow had drained all of his strength, and now Jiren couldn't even stand up. Admit defeat. Su-han rushed in front of Jiren and wanted to end the fight with a final punch, but stopped after hearing Jiren's voice. He didn't expect that an arrogant guy like Jiren would take the initiative to admit defeat. This really surprised Su-han. You must know that Jiren's character is also very stubborn in the original work. Even this guy refused to be a candidate for Gods of Destruction many times in order to find the murderer who killed his own people. Because after becoming a candidate for Gods of Destruction, he will be subject to many constraints, and he must put the safety of the universe first, and this will definitely affect his search for an extermination enemy. So Jiren directly refused to be a candidate for Gods of Destruction. Even if he gave up the power of destruction, he still wanted to find the murderer who killed his people. It can also be seen from this that Jiren is a person who will never compromise easily. But Su-han didn't expect that this time Jiren would take the initiative to admit defeat. And although Jiren's eyes were somewhat unwilling, there was also admiration. Su-han's strength is too strong. Even if he surpasses the limit and stimulates the potential in his body, there is no way to defeat him. He is really not reconciled. But he can't help it. The last blow just now has exhausted his energy, and now he can't even stand up, so why is he talking about defeating the opponent? I lost, but don't think that if you beat me this time, I will lose to you next time. I admire your strength, but I, Jiren, will never be defeated forever. The next time we meet, I will definitely defeat you with my own hands. When Jiren said this, his eyes were full of determination. When his last move was easily dispelled by Su-han, Jiren had already had such a thought in his mind, so he didn't just say it. He will definitely take action, and he will practice even harder after returning home until he surpasses Su-han. HMPH, as expected of Jiren. Okay, from what you said, I'm looking forward to our next battle now. But I will never lose to you. Just after Su-han finished speaking, the two looked at each other with smiles on their faces. It seems that at this moment, they have changed from enemies to competitors and even friends. And at this moment, Su-han suddenly extended his palm to Jiren. Jiren looked at the palm that was outstretched towards him, and was stunned for a moment, then a smile appeared on his face, and he directly pulled it up. And the moment the two palms touched each other, a wave of energy slowly flowed into Jiren's body along Su-han's arm. Jiren also regained some energy at this moment. Jiren wanted to say something, but couldn't. He didn't expect that the guy in front of him would actually give a part of his energy to himself. But it also gave her the ability to stand up. The reason why Su-han did this is naturally because he has his own ideas. After all, Jiren is the strongest human being in the original book, possessing absolute strength and cultivation talent. And Su-han's move definitely won Jiren's favor. Even if Jiren is useful in the future, Su-han believes that this guy will definitely help. Although his current strength may have surpassed some gods of destruction, there is still a gap compared to Angel. You must know that there are Grand Priest and Xeno above Angel, and even all demons, and there are many people who are stronger than Su-han. So it is definitely a wise choice to win over Jiren at this time. Thank you, Su-han. Jiren looked at each other very seriously and nodded. When we meet next time, I will definitely defeat you. Su-han froze for a moment, and then remembered that he introduced his name when he first met Jiren, but he didn't expect this guy to remember it. Then Su-han nodded seriously and said, okay. Then I will wait for the next battle. Su-han is very clear that Jiren will definitely practice desperately after returning home, and will definitely surpass his own limit again. But if this means defeating Su-han, it is absolutely impossible. After all, this battle between Su-han and Jiren was not at all full strength. There is still a lot of power that has not been displayed, but Su-han naturally does not intend to tell Jiren. Because this is probably the closest Jiren is to me, and the gap between them will get farther and farther in the future. There will be a period later. Nodding to Su-han, Jiren's body turned into a stream of crimson light and disappeared in place. He knew that the gods of destruction Vermut would not let Su-han go so easily, and he also believed that Su-han was powerful. So Jiren didn't even look at Vermut as he was leaving. Such as his character. Bad temper. Seeing the back of Jiren leaving, gods of destruction Vermut please spit. Although he was a little displeased with Jiren's style of doing things, there was nothing he could do about it. After spending so long with Jiren, no one knew Jiren's weird temper better than Vermut. That's what he is. He never puts others in his eyes, even if he is gods of destruction. If it weren't for the fact that he still has half of his master status, Jiren probably wouldn't bother with him at all. Hey, I didn't expect that even Jiren was defeated, but in the end, I still didn't see what power was hidden in his body. Angel Makurita looked disappointed. I thought I would have the opportunity to see what kind of power is hidden in Su-han's body, and why he has an attraction to himself. But unexpectedly, even Jiren, who was beyond the limit, could not force Su-han to use that power. Go, Makurita. Gods of destruction Vermut glanced at Su-han, and then there was a gloomy killing intent in his eyes. In the next moment, it flew directly in front of Su-han. Your name is Su-han, right? You're from the 7th universe. What's your relationship to Beerus? Gods of Destruction Vermut looked down at Su-han from above, examining him with a very commanding tone. It seems that as long as the other party's answer makes me dissatisfied, I can attack the other party at any time with this excuse. And Su-han was looking at the Gods of Destruction Vermut floating obliquely above him, showing a smoky expression. Frowning slightly, he said lightly, I don't seem to have the obligation to answer your question. I don't seem to be obliged to answer your question. Seeing the clown Gods of Destruction Vermut, Su-han frowned slightly and said. Su-han still has a certain understanding of the 12 Gods of Destruction in the Dragon Ball world. But the Gods of Destruction, Vermut, and Su-han in the clown appearance in front of him really don't like it at all. Especially in the power tournament of the original Dragon Ball, the sinister and cunning smile on this guy's face has been deeply engraved in Su-han's mind until now. Coupled with the tone of this guy talking to him just now, that very commanding tone and condescending feeling, it made Su-han extremely uncomfortable. Hearing that Gods of Destruction Vermut's eyes narrowed slightly, coupled with his clown appearance, it gave people a very sinister and cunning feeling. Boy, do you know who you are talking to? Gods of Destruction Vermut grinned his sausage mouth, revealing a sinister smile. Do not know. Su-han stared directly at Gods of Destruction Vermut, but what he said in the next second really stunned Gods of Destruction Vermut. Su-han wants to see what the clown Gods of Destruction wants to do. If he wants to fight, then Su-han will naturally accompany him to the end. I can also take this opportunity to see how strong or weak my own strength is compared to Gods of Destruction. Even Su-han was a little curious, what kind of expression would this guy have on his face if he saw that he used the ultra instinct that even he couldn't master? No, I don't know. Hearing this, Gods of Destruction Vermut's face turned dark, and he didn't know how to respond for a while, but after waiting for a while, he showed a bright smile again. Said, since you don't know my identity, let me introduce myself to you. I am the Gods of Destruction of the 11th universe, Lord Vermut. Now you know who I am. After finishing speaking, Gods of Destruction Vermut didn't hide the huge power in his body at all, and directly released some of it. Call. For a moment, a powerful breath of God swept across like a gust of wind. But even so, Su-han's face was still as calm as water. Oh, so it's Gods of Destruction from the 11th universe. If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first. Su-han's expression was very calm, even a little too calm. As if deliberately annoyed Gods of Destruction Vermut, the tone of his speech was full of disdain. It's as if the Gods of Destruction standing opposite is no different from air. Oops, this little guy, why is his temper even weirder than Jiren's? At this time, Angel Makarita suddenly covered her mouth and laughed. Although the strength of this little guy is not impressive, will it really be good for him to deliberately provoke Lord Vermut? But maybe I should think in a better way, so that I might have a chance to see the energy hidden in this little guy's physical fitness. Thinking of this, the smile on Angel Makarita's face became even brighter. Did I let you go? The humans of the 7th universe are as good as that Beerus guy. This arrogant character is even more annoying than Beerus himself. Gods of Destruction Vermut said in a cold voice. And at the moment when his voice fell, a huge breath of God rushed towards his face. A powerful coercion formed, pressing heavily on Su-han's body. Facing the full coercion of Gods of Destruction Vermut, Su-han's body was about to be crushed to the ground. But at that moment, Su-han directly thrust his legs into the ground abruptly. Coercive me, you also need to have this strength. Ha. With a low growl, Su-han directly turned into Super Saiyan God Rose Purple. And at the moment Su-han turned into Rose Purple, the sense of oppression brought by Gods of Destruction Vermut disappeared at this moment. TCH, you can actually ignore my coercion. Originally, after seeing the coercion work on Su-han, the face of Gods of Destruction Vermut was indescribably smug. But after seeing Su-han turned into Rose Purple, his sense of oppression has no effect on Su-han. Gods of Destruction Vermut's teeth itch from his popularity. The initial confrontation left me devastated. If he didn't teach him a lesson, he would be ashamed of his position as Gods of Destruction. Just do it when you disagree. Gods of Destruction is really powerful. However, the candidates you cultivated are not very strong. Su-han looked directly into Vermut's gaze, and then said in a strange way. After Gods of Destruction Vermut heard Su-han's words, the expression on his face became even uglier. How dare you be true to yourself? To say that the strength of the Gods of Destruction I cultivated is not very good is to say that my own strength is not very good. Master Vermut, what he said means that he looks down on you a bit. At this time, Makurita on the side took advantage of the situation to add fuel to the fire. Because he also wanted to see what the power hidden in Su-han's body was, and since Jiren couldn't force Su-han to use it, he could only pin his hopes on Lord Vermut. I hope Master Vermut can cheer up. Shut up, Makurita. Hearing this, the anger in Gods of Destruction Vermut's heart was directly ignited. How could he fail to understand the meaning of Su-han's words, but he really didn't expect how this guy would seek death. It's okay to have the same temper as that guy Beerus, but now he's really himself. If I can bear this, then how can I continue to hang out in the circle of Gods of Destruction in the future? The boy of the 7th universe. Do you know what you said just now? For a Gods of Destruction, it lacks due respect. And even if my candidate is not strong enough, will it be your turn to discipline? Gods of Destruction Vermut said with an ugly face. And every word he said exuded a powerful aura belonging to Gods of Destruction. If it wasn't because Su-han's strength was strong enough, I'm afraid his legs would have trembled just hearing the other party's tone of voice. I didn't intend to discipline him. It's just that he was too confident and insisted on fighting me. In the end, he ended up in a fiasco. No one else is to blame. Su-han shook his head and said indifferently. In fact, this matter is not my reason at all. I just went to the Supreme Kai world to sign in to complete the system's sign-in task. But Supreme Kai actually called everyone from the Proud Team over. And it was all kinds of pretense and coercion, but in the end their lack of strength was slapped in the face by themselves. Could it be that such a thing can also be blamed on oneself? Smart-toothed brat. I'll give you 2 ways to go now. The first is to kneel down and beg for mercy. Maybe I'll let you go back to my own universe as soon as I'm happy. Second, I will hit you on your knees and beg for mercy, which will be considered as a long memory for you. In the future, remember that Gods of Destruction is not something you can easily offend. Quote. Gods of Destruction Vermut's expression became more and more embarrassing. Before, he himself had the heart to kill Su-han, but after knowing that this guy might be a candidate for Beerus, his heart gradually weakened the desire to kill Su-han. Because that Beerus guy can do anything if he gets crazy. The opponent couldn't help defeating Toppo and Jiren, and even had such an arrogant attitude that he, Gods of Destruction, felt extremely uncomfortable, but Gods of Destruction Vermut still didn't want to make a move if possible. Because from the moment Jiren's all-out burst of last blow was easily parried by this guy, Vermut understood one thing. Even if you do it yourself, it may be very difficult to defeat this guy. Of course, this is under the premise of not using the power of destruction. Although Makurita also intentionally instigated, hoping to fight with the opponent, how could Gods of Destruction Vermut not know what Makurita was planning in his heart? She wanted to see what the hidden power in Su-han was. And if, as Makurita guessed, this guy hides some kind of powerful power, if it breaks out in a battle, and even he who uses the power of destruction cannot defeat the opponent, then it will be really embarrassing. Woolen cloth. My 2 apprentices have already lost all face. As a master, I must act cautiously, otherwise I will also capsize in the gutter. If you are ashamed, you will lose your hair. Hitting the apprentice and beating the master. Kneel down and beg for mercy. PFF'd. Su-han directly scoffed at the 2 paths Vermut mentioned. What are you kidding? Let yourself kneel down and beg for mercy. Just because he is worthy of Vermut. Why are you laughing? Seeing Su-han suddenly laugh, Gods of Destruction Vermut clenched his fists tightly. Nothing, I just thought you might not be awake, Vermut. Let me kneel down and beg for mercy. I want to say that you are farting. If you want to do it, just do it. But the person who knelt down and begged for mercy in the end might be you. In Su-han's eyes, the reason why Gods of Destruction Vermut is so long-winded is because he wants to fight with himself. Cowardly, just say no. Why are you so gaudy? Since the other party wants to fight, then he must fulfill Vermut. Hoo-hoo, I thought I couldn't make it, but this little guy's answer really shocked me. Hearing this, even Makurita couldn't help laughing. But when Su-han said these words, it also means that this battle must be fought. Things beyond their control. You are the first person who dares to insult gods of destruction. Don't think that you can speak so unscrupulously after defeating Jiren. Since you insist on courting death, I'll let you see how stupid your choice was just now. The moment the voice fell, gods of destruction Vermut's eyes suddenly became icy cold. And at that moment, the huge divine aura in his body was unreservedly released. Brush. For a while, the purple energy soared into the sky, and there were bursts of roaring sounds. At this moment, the arm of gods of destruction Vermut suddenly raised, and then more than 10 golden energy balls suddenly formed. The next moment, the dozen or so golden energy balls shot directly in the direction of Su-han. The energy contained in these energy balls is terrifying, and almost all of them have the strength not weaker than Jiren's final blow. Is this the means of gods of destruction? It's just what I want. As he said that, Su-han raised his arms, each turned into a gas blade, and then swung the light blade in the air and swept away in an instant. Boom! The moment the light blades touched the golden energy ball, they all exploded. Accompanied by the explosion of the energy ball, a powerful shock wave instantly swept through the entire protective barrier. And at this moment, the entire protective barrier trembled. As the smoke and dust in the sky gradually receded, Su-han's Shen-ting walked out slowly from the smoke and dust. At this moment, Su-han's body was spotless, and the blow from gods of destruction Vermut did not harm him at all. This guy has nothing to do, it's really difficult. Gods of destruction Vermut looked at Su-han with slightly narrowed eyes, his complexion was extremely dark. Could it be that I really want to use the power of destruction, but if I can't defeat the opponent with the power of destruction, then I will be ashamed. Ooh, Master Vermut, your attack seems to have no effect on him. And this little guy is very strong, you shouldn't be able to use ordinary attacks. At this time, Makurita suddenly appeared in Gods of Destruction Vermut's ear and reminded him. Of course, what Makurita meant was obvious, that she wanted Gods of Destruction Vermut to use the power of destruction, but how did she know what Vermut was worried about writing? Cut, you don't need to remind me of Makurita, I know exactly what to do. Gods of Destruction glanced at Makurita sullenly. How could this woman be so curious about the energy in Su-han's body? Could it be that there are so many secrets hidden in this guy? Makurita, what exactly is the power you said you felt in this guy's body? Gods of Destruction Vermut glanced at Makurita anxiously and asked. He has known Makurita for a long time, but he has never seen Makurita be so concerned about one thing, so he naturally has more doubts about the power hidden in Su-han's body. I'm not very clear about this, Master Vermut. Angel Makurita pouted. If she could guess it, would she let the other party force Su-han to use that power? It's really Master Vermut, why did he become so timid today? Cut. Hearing this, Gods of Destruction Vermut snorted coldly. His face became even uglier, and he was thinking about whether he should use his destructive power or not. What's the matter Vermut? Although the blow just now was not weak, it doesn't seem to be much stronger than Jiren. Master Gods of Destruction, your strength shouldn't be limited to this. If this is the case, it would be such a pity. Seeing that Gods of Destruction Vermut had no intention of continuing to attack, Su-han immediately shook his head feigning disappointment. How dare you say such a thing to Gods of Destruction, I think you are really courting death. After speaking, Gods of Destruction Vermut frowned. In the next moment, his body directly turned into a purple streamer, rushing towards Su-han. A heavy punch hit Su-han's cheek. But facing the attack of Gods of Destruction, Su-han didn't panic. There was even an excited smile on his face. Well done. Let's see how strong Gods of Destruction is. After saying that, Su-han also clenched his arms tightly, and directly blasted out the heavy punches coming to him. Boom! The two fists collided, and a huge shock wave spread from the middle of the bodies of the two of them. Even the protective shield that blocked their area was roaring at this moment. And at the moment when their fists collided with Setsuna, their bodies were shaken back in various ways. Su-han took 100 steps back, and Gods of Destruction Vermut took a few dozen steps back. Although it seems that Vermut has gained some advantages on the surface, it is not difficult to see that Gods of Destruction Vermut not only does not show any joy on his face. On the contrary, it is getting colder and colder. He was gods of destruction from the 11th universe, and he fought with a human from the 7th universe, and he also took dozens of steps backwards. This result made him feel a burning pain on his face. This guy. Vermut stared at Su-Han with both eyes, and made a crackling sound with his clenched fists. Call out. And at this moment, Su-Han's body appeared directly in front of Vermut. Then he punched out with a heavy blow. Boom. Although Vermut blocked Su-Han's attack with his palm, his body also took 2 steps back to stabilize his body. What's the matter, Vermut? Your strength shouldn't be limited to these. While taunting, Su-Han waved his fists and launched a storm-like attack on Gods of Destruction Vermut. Under the roar of Gods of Destruction Vermut, a heavy punch landed on Su-Han's chest immediately. The moment the fist landed on Su-Han's body, his body flew upside down in an instant, and he stabilized his body after retreating several hundred meters. That's right, this kind of battle is interesting, don't hide your strength, Vermut. Let's have a good fight. Su-Han wiped the stain from the corner of his mouth, and then showed an excited smile. Very good. Gods of Destruction Vermut's eyes were filled with anger. Since you are so determined to seek death, then I will fulfill you now. Don't think that you can fight against Gods of Destruction after defeating a candidate for Gods of Destruction. I'll let you know now, the real horror of Gods of Destruction. The moment Gods of Destruction Vermut's voice fell, the purple energy around his body instantly turned into a dark purple flame. Brush. The deep purple energy soared into the sky. At this moment it was like the end of the world, and the powerful coercion made it difficult to breathe. That's right, this is the destructive energy of Gods of Destruction. Even now, Gods of Destruction Vermut didn't want to think too much about it. Because he knew that it was impossible for this guy to admit his mistakes obediently, and it was impossible to defeat Su-Han with ordinary means. So even if we continue to fight with Su-Han, there will be no result. Since this guy can easily defeat Jiren, it is enough to prove that his strength may not be weaker than his own. So in such a situation, if you want to defeat the opponent, you can only rely on yourself as Gods of Destruction's biggest reliance. The power of destruction. Only in this way can I solve Su-Han quickly. Regardless of whether Makurita's guess is true or not, as long as he can deal with Su-Han quickly, no matter how powerful his hidden power is. If you die, you die. Even if he wanted to meet the wrath of Gods of Destruction Beerus, Vermut would admit it. At worst, the trouble will go to Zeno, and it will be hard for everyone. Disappear for me. Destroy. Gods of Destruction Vermut narrowed his eyes slightly, revealing a chill. He raised his right hand to point at Su-Han, and a basketball-sized purple energy ball suddenly appeared in Vermut's palm. This is destructive energy, the most powerful energy in the entire universe. As long as it is within the laws of the universe, he can easily destroy it. And Su-Han, no matter how powerful he is, can't compete with this. Master Vermut finally uses the power of destruction. I wonder if Su-Han will use the energy hidden in his body. So excited. After seeing this scene, Makurita on the side became excited. Because as an angel, she is very clear about what the power of destruction represents. Anything that can destroy a universe. So she believed that in the face of such a threat, Su-Han would definitely use the hidden energy in his body. Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to resist the power of destruction. The power of destruction. It's a pity, Vermut, although this thing is very powerful, it doesn't work for me at all. Su-Han looked at the energy ball in Gods of Destruction Vermut's hand, and said in a very flat tone. Although the power of destruction is very strong, even unsolvable, it can only be effective for those who have not mastered the power of destruction. No pressure for Su-Han. Humph. No shame, the power of destruction can easily destroy anything, and no energy can compete with it. It doesn't work for you. It's ridiculous. Gods of Destruction Vermut showed a contemptuous smile on his gloomy face, and then said again, of course, if you also master the power of destruction. Having said this, Gods of Destruction Vermut was suddenly stunned, as if he had thought of something, and then a trace of cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Because at this moment, Su-Han actually exuded a weak force of destruction. The power of destruction is not exclusive to you. Saying that, Su-Han stretched out his right hand to Vermut, and the same energy ball appeared in his hand. This is impossible. Absolutely impossible. How could this fool possess the power of destruction? Looking at the destructive energy in his hands, Gods of Destruction Vermut was completely stunned. Because he didn't know what was going on at all. Although this guy was most likely Beerus' apprentice, he didn't feel any damage from him. And when he was fighting Jiren or even Toppo who used destructive power before, he didn't show any destructive power. Margarita, what the hell is going on here? Is this the special energy you sensed in this guy? Gods of Destruction Vermut didn't care about the shock. He hurriedly turned his head to look at Margarita at the side, and roared out. But in the face of Su-han's sudden destructive power, the shocked people were not free from Vermut himself, and even Margarita was stunned. How did he master the power of destruction? And he didn't realize it. And it's not even deadly. The most terrible thing is the power of destruction. This is not the energy I sensed, is it? This little guy, 070, does he hide other abilities besides the power of destruction? Margarita ignored Vermut's words and began to think on her own. Because at this moment Su-han used his destructive power. Margarita still felt a certain attraction from the other party, so Margarita can be sure that the power hidden in his body is definitely not the power of destruction. Maybe even more mysterious than the power of destruction. Margarita, what are you doing? Answer my question quickly. Seeing that the other party ignored him, Gods of Destruction Vermut became furious. But Margarita just shook her head. Cut. No matter what, it's impossible for this guy to master the power of destruction. It must be playing tricks. Gods of Destruction Vermut saw that Margarita was silent, and stopped asking. Is it just playing tricks and you'll know if you try it? Su-han looked at Gods of Destruction Vermut calmly. I want to see if your destructive power is real. It's still a little trick of mystery. Saying Gods of Destruction Vermut gritted his teeth, and then the Pokemon in his hand shot towards Su in an instant. Seeing the purple destructive energy rushing towards him, Su-han smiled slightly, stretching out his palm, and the destructive energy shot out from his hand as well. Call out. When the two destructive energies touched together, there was no sound. Then it was slowly offset in the air, and finally completely disappeared in front of their eyes. Sure enough, Su-han nodded slightly. He was naturally very clear about the fact that the power of destruction and the power of destruction cancel each other out. But Gods of Destruction Vermut was so shocked that his jaw almost fell to the ground. Because he could clearly feel that what Su-han displayed just now was indeed the power of destruction, although it was slightly less pure than his own destruction. However, it is a real power to break the word. This also means that the other party is not playing tricks at all, but has indeed mastered the power of destruction. Because apart from the power of destruction and the power of destruction, which can cancel each other out, no other ability can do this. Impossible. It's really the power of destruction. Gods of Destruction Vermut was extremely shocked. But the other party has indeed mastered the power of destruction, which I cannot deny. What's the matter, Vermut? Your complexion doesn't seem to be very good. Maybe it's because of the power of destruction. But you don't have to worry about it too much, and I've already said that the power of destruction is not exclusive to you, Vermut. Looking at the frowning Vermut, Su-han said lightly. Su-wan's expectation of Vermut's surprised expression was completely expected. After all, the power of destruction is this guy's last trump card and reliance, and now that he has also mastered the power of destruction, it means that it is even more difficult for Vermut to defeat him. Don't be too arrogant. Even if you have mastered the power of destruction, so what? Your control over the power of destruction can only reach the level of being a candidate for Gods of Destruction at best. And I am the real Gods of Destruction. The control over the power of destruction is completely beyond your imagination. Although Gods of Destruction Vermut looked ugly, he still refused to show weakness. And Vermut also discovered this when Su-han made a move just now. Although this guy also mastered the power of destruction, he didn't reach the level of real Gods of Destruction. So even if he fights, he will definitely be able to defeat him. And the current situation is already difficult for Gods of Destruction Vermut, so he must defeat the opponent, no matter what means he uses. You can try. Su-han looked at Gods of Destruction Vermut, and said in a cold tone. What the other party said is correct. My grasp of the power of destruction is currently only 50%, although it is much stronger than candidates like Toppo, but if compared with the real Gods of Destruction, it is obvious that I still have to weak. But Su-han's whole card is more than just destructive power. Try and die. After finishing speaking, Gods of Destruction Vermut shook his fist fiercely. Immediately, powerful breaking words erupted from his body, and even the entire Gods of Destruction world trembled. Hoo-hoo. The huge destructive force made the Gods of Destruction Vermut look like a god of death at this moment. It seems that they can reap the lives of others at will. Now let me teach you how to use the Gods of Destruction pass. Speaking of Gods of Destruction, Vermut's body suddenly disappeared into the distance. When it reappeared, it came directly in front of Su-han. What? Seeing this scene, Su-han's eyes widened. He didn't expect Vermut's speed to become so fast. There was no time to dodge, so I could only passively cross my hands in front of my chest. This will prevent yourself from being too seriously injured. Boom. A heavy punch landed on his arm, and Su-han's body flew upside down like a sharp arrow. Boom. Finally, it hit the protective barrier and made a piercing sound. Steady his body. Although he defended Vermut's blow just now, but Su-han's arms were also a little numb at this moment. Vermut's full power is really strong, but 50's destructive power is still not enough. But what if you add that? Saying that, Su-han's eyes also became sharper. Looking directly at Gods of Destruction Vermut. And Vermut also showed a sinister smile when he saw that he had directly knocked Su-han away with his punch. Really, my guess is correct. Although this guy has mastered the power of destruction, his mastery of the power of destruction is only a little stronger than that guy Toppo, and he is still incomparable with the real Gods of Destruction. In this way, Vermut will feel more at ease. Now I will let you know what will happen to you if you offend Gods of Destruction. Almost as soon as the sound fell, the body of Gods of Destruction Vermut flashed out. It has to be said that Gods of Destruction Vermut's speed is astonishingly fast after its full strength. It is simply two existences with him who did not activate the power of breaking words before, and there is no comparison at all. Perhaps this is the strength of the Gods of Destruction skill, and why Gods of Destruction is the ceiling of the universe. But even though the current Gods of Destruction Vermut is very fast, Su-han can still see his movements very clearly. Give up resistance. Then die for me. Gods of Destruction Vermut saw that the other party had no intention of avoiding or defending, and the smile on his face became even brighter. But just when his fist was still 5 centimeters away from Su-han's chest, Su-han's body suddenly 0.8 out of the ordinary side, actually dodging Gods of Destruction Vermut's attack directly. This is the spontaneous reaction of Su-han's body, without going through the brain, so this is why Su-han dared to relax so much. What? This guy actually escaped my attack. And within such a short distance. How is this possible? Gods of Destruction Vermut was almost stunned, thinking that he never thought that the opponent could dodge his attack. And you have to know that your fist was less than 5 centimeters away from the opponent's body just now. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Gods of Destruction Vermut stabilized the shocked expression on his face, and then comforted himself. This feeling, no mistake, no wonder I feel a kind of attraction in this little guy, so it's this realm. But, how can a human being master that state? Angel Makarita looked at Su-han with dull eyes, and kept thinking about the scene where Su-han avoided Vermut's attack just now in his mind. I am afraid that apart from that realm, there is no other explanation. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.